Now that we know what the application does, we can start to code some of the buttons to make that action actually occur. So I'm going to start with the Larry button, and I've already put code in here and played with it and erased it. So when I double click on the Larry button, it tells me I'm already in the action option. When you double click on your button for the first time, you will see a large list of possible consequences. So please choose action and then code as follows. So the first thing I do want to do, I'm going to jump back here for just a second, is refresh my memory on the names of my image wells. So this main one here is Employee of the Month, EOTM, and these three along the bottom are simply called Image Well 2, Image Well 3, and Image Well 4. So that's important. I also need to know the name of this label, and I've left it simply as Label 1, which seems to make perfect sense. So back into my Larry button. When I click on that button, I want the image of Larry to go into the Employee of the Month image well at the top. So EOTM is the name of the image well, and I want the image for that to equal Stooge Larry. So this picture that has been loaded into the application will go and serve as the image for the control called Employee of the Month. And I also would like label1.text, so the content of the text in that label, to equal this individual's name, which is Larry Fine, simply entered within quotations. Now that's the first component, so that will flip the image from the bottom image well to the top image well, and that will then change the text to match the picture. But what I also want to do is control the visibility of the image wells down below. So because Larry Fine, let me jump back here for a second, this content is going to be put in here, this is going to change to his name, and I want this image well to now disappear because his picture is now up here as opposed to being here. So we'll go back in here and we'll make the adjustments to the code to make that happen. So image well 2.visible equals false. So I'm going to set the visible characteristics of this image well to false, which means it will simply disappear. And I want the other two to stay visible. So really I didn't need to do anything here, but when you get moving the contents around and making some image wells visible and some invisible, it always makes sense to account for that. So I want image well 3.visible to equal true to make sure it shows up, and the same with, make sure I get a capital on there, and the same with the other image well 4.visible equals true. So when I click on the Larry button, it will hide the image well for Larry and show the other two. So if I happen to have Mo hidden, for example, and I click on the Larry button, it will bring Mo back and hide Larry. So let's jump back out now and take a look at that code and see what happens when I run my application. It will show me if I have any errors in my code, and it looks like I'm okay. So when I click on Larry, I get the contents moving, the box hiding. I haven't done my reset button yet. So there's the only one I can check at this point. So it seems to be working fine. So what I'm going to ask you to do at this point is go ahead and take a second. You can pause the video and code Mo and Curly to do the same thing. So we'll look at that code one more time. The main Employee of the Month image well will turn into Stooge Larry. We change the contents of the label, and then we adjust the visible features of image wells 2, 3, and 4. So you can go ahead, again, pause this video, complete Mo and Curly, and when you come back from that, we will take a look at how to do the reset button. Okay, go ahead. Okay, we're back. Hopefully you have coded the other two buttons successfully. Now we're going to code the reset button. So I double click on it, And again, you will choose the mouse enter possible outcome for this button. So for mouse enter, what I need to do is code all of the features so that they reset to their original state. So employee of the month dot image, I want that to be an empty image box. So I'm going to tell it to equal nil, which will put no image in it. I also want label one dot text to equal this, I think I had that all in capitals, months winner, and that should reset the text box and the original employee of the month image well. Now I also want to make sure that all of the image wells down below have the appropriate picture showing and they are all visible. So image well 2 dot visible equals true. That means the image will be visible, and image well 2 dot image equals Stooge Larry. So I'm putting the original picture back into its initial spot. And I'll do the same with image well 3. And this one will be Stooge Mo. And image well 4 dot visible also will be true. I want it to be visible again. And image well 4 dot image will equal Stooge Curly. Okay, so all of my image wells visibility is being reset to true so you can see them, and they're all having the original pictures put back into them so you can see it also. So we'll jump back out. We will run our code. Oh, I see I have a mistake. So whenever there is a mistake, it'll tell you what that mistake is. So I got to go back in and check. Image well.image. There we go. I forgot my number 3. And jump back out. We fixed our mistake, and we'll run our code. Okay, so I click on Larry. It works. Hopefully you have coded Mo to work. You have coded Curly to work, and at any point in time, I simply mouse over reset. It resets the images, re-empties or cleans out my initial image well, and resets my text. Wonderful. So now you have the ability to load images into image wells, and you've done some basic coding that allows you to manipulate the images, change the content of image wells, and hide and show those image wells. Excellent job.